And from the outside looking in, I don't really know anyone on it, but you see it a lot. Like people are now taking Ozempic for just to lose weight.
Yeah.
For me, and I look at that, like you talk about a guy who's going to lose 250, well, you said 250 in a year. That just sounds like it can't be healthy for you.
It actually,
and I'm not saying Ozempic is involved, but
it actually is not. And I'll tell you exactly what's involved, but it actually is not. You really have to, when you lose that much weight, you have to focus on detox pathways. Meaning, you have the same number of fat cells now as you did the day you were born. It's a really hard concept for people to understand that when I came out of the womb, I have the same number of fat cells as I do now, because fat doesn't increase or decrease in number; they increase or decrease in size. Right? I mean, the cells turn over, but they increase or decrease in size. So your fat cells get larger and larger and larger. So if you've been, heavy and you progress to obesity over a prolonged period of time, you know what's in those fat cells? Pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, drugs you've done, chemicals, synthetics, histamines, all kinds of inflammatory factors. So when that cell starts to shrink again and turn into energy, it's dumping that shit back into the bloodstream. So one of the things we're focusing on with him is, he's traveling with a nurse now, so he's doing weekly IVs, something called glutathione. He does a topical glutathione spray on his skin to help his body, with detox pathways. He's taking an activated charcoal for the gut so that you can actually sop up toxins in the gut, because you can't just dump all of those toxins right back into the bloodstream. They have to go somewhere. You think of when all that fat is coming off of the body, where is it going? It's going into the bloodstream, the urine, the stool. So it can make you really, really sick. So one of the things that I'm really focusing on with the clinical team and him is how do we get the toxins out of the body? Activated charcoal, glutathione, regular IVs. So you make sure that he's on a specific multivitamin. And in his case, you can use things like tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro, or semaglutide, which is Wegovy and Ozempic. The problem with those is that people are using them for vanity, right? And a third of the weight that you lose is lean body mass. And so what happens is, when people drop weight so quickly, they're dropping a lot of muscle and a lot of lean body mass. So you have to protect it with a peptide. You have to be doing weight-bearing exercise. So you preserve the lean body mass and you lose the fat. I mean, when people say they want to lose weight, what they really mean is I want to lose fat. Yeah. Nobody means I want to lose muscle. I want to lose ligaments, tendons, bones. I want to demineralize my bones. I just want to lose fat, right? That's what I want to lose. And so the problem with a lot of these drugs is if you just start injecting Ozempic, which is semaglutide, then you're not just losing fat, right? And you're slowing gastric emptying, you're shutting down the gut. And so my personal preference is tirzepatide. In side-by-side clinical trials, it actually did better than Ozempic, than semaglutide at weight loss. But you need to be taking peptides, in my opinion. I can't get medical advice, but I would be on a peptide. I would be on something to sop up toxins in the gut like glutathione and activated charcoal, and I would be weight training for sure. I just had Dr. Gabrielle Lyon on. She's like the muscle queen. She wrote a book called Forever Strong, talking about how muscle is our metabolic currency. If you want to live a long time, lift heavy weight. And we talked about Ozempic and these weight loss drugs. You have to be doing weight-bearing exercise when you're on those, or you'll just become skinny fat. Right. Yeah.
Well, they also say once you get off it, your metabolism comes back up and you gain that weight right back.
Well, that's not true if you're smart about how you titrate on and how you titrate off of these things, right? I mean, some of those were meant to be on permanently, right? I mean, that seems outlandish to me, that you would be on a permanent, what's called a GLP-1 and GDP inhibitor, because now you're shutting down the body's natural way of accomplishing those things. But for people that have where weight is a health risk, morbidly obese, type 2 diabetics, these can be life-saving for them. You gotta remember that you don't use them by themselves, right? Help them detox, weight-bearing exercise, peptides so they don't lose lean muscle mass, get them to a targeted weight, and then safely titrate off of those things. That's what my clinical team does. I don't think that we have anyone that I've seen, our physicians, put somebody on that stays on it permanently.
Because a lot of people, I guess a lot of people online say it's like bad for you, but you're saying that in the proper way, dosed with other things, it's not bad for you.
There's a much greater risk if you're a type 2 diabetic and you're morbidly obese, you have a greater risk of, from morbid obesity and diabetes than you do from the side effects of tirzepatide or semaglutide. But you want to just not take it in isolation. You can use those to to have effective weight loss, and you can titrate off of those. I mean, I've seen my clinical team do this hundreds and hundreds of times. So I firsthand knowledge you can do it safely. But people get on it and then they just stay on it. And then once they reach their targeted weight, they're still on it. And now the people are getting that Ozempic face, they call it, where it actually starts to eat the fat out of your face, and your face gets sunken, your eyes start to look really sunken. That's fat that's not coming back.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I know someone who was on it, and he started to look like almost malnourished because it was like, dude, you need to slow down on that.